We spend so much time looking up, at the stars and wondering what's out there in space and all of the mysteries of the cosmos. But right here on our own planet, there's a place that's equally as vast and mysterious,
Absolutely.
the ocean.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a deep dive into some of the most fascinating and terrifying truths about ocean life.
Yeah, this will be fun.
So think of this as your shortcut to understanding some of the most incredible and, sometimes unsettling aspects of what's going on under the water.
Like, think about it. We're gonna go to the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean.
Yeah.
We're gonna meet some creatures that are just bizarre.
Straight up nightmares.
Yeah, total nightmares. We're gonna talk about like the crazy power of the ocean itself.
Yeah.
And we'll even touch on some of the mysteries that still haven't been solved about what's down there.
I mean, it's wild to think that we have better maps of the surface of Mars
Right.
than we do of our own ocean floor.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. That just shows you how much we don't know
Yeah.
about what's down there.
So where do we even begin with something this big?
Well, I think the best place to start is at the very bottom,
Okay.
the abyssal zone.
Okay, so what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Paint me a picture of the abyssal zone.
Okay, so imagine a place where the sun has never, ever shone.
Okay.
It is completely and totally dark,
Dark.
and the water is just barely above freezing.
Oh, that sounds pleasant.
But that's not even the worst part. The pressure down there is unbelievable.
Okay.
It's like having a stack of cars piled on top of you.
On every square inch of my body.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah, it's intense.
So not exactly a place where you'd want to go for a casual swim,
No, not really.
but clearly something can survive down there.
Oh yeah, there are things down there and they are weird.
Yeah. So how do these things even survive in a place like that?
Well, they've had to adapt and they've come up with some pretty wild ways to do it.
Okay, give me an example.
Like, have you ever heard of the anglerfish?
Oh yeah, that's the one with the little light, right.
Yeah, it's got this glowing lure that hangs right in front of its mouth.
And it just dangles it there in the darkness.
Yeah, basically saying, hey, come check this out, and then...
Sampa.
Exactly. It's brutal.
It is, but that's how it has to survive.
Yeah, I mean, in a place with no light, that bioluminescence, I mean, that glowing lure is genius.
It's like a beacon in the darkness, attracting all sorts of unsuspecting prey.
And then those teeth.
Oh yeah, those teeth are razor sharp.
Like, I've seen pictures, they're designed to make sure that nothing gets away.
Nothing escapes those teeth.
And not only are the teeth terrifying, but these things can swallow prey like way bigger than themselves.
Oh yeah, I mean way bigger.
That's wild.
When food is scarce, you can't afford to be picky.
Makes sense.
You take what you can get.
And speaking of taking what you can get, have you seen the mouth on a gulper eel?
Oh my gosh, it's practically all mouth.
I know, it's insane.
Yeah, it's got this huge, loosely inched jaw.
So it can just open wide?
Yeah, wide enough to swallow things way bigger than its own head.
Yeah.
That's another one where
You gotta see it to believe it.
yeah, you gotta see it to believe it.
Like, it makes sense when you think about the environment.
Right.
They have to be able to take advantage of every single meal that comes their way. Because who knows when the next one will be.
It might be a while.
Yeah, it could be weeks or even months.
Yeah, so, okay, we've got anglerfish. We've got gulper eels.
Yeah, what else?
What about this faceless fish I've been hearing about?
It was a faceless fish.
It's like the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy, isn't it?
I mean, a fish with no face.
It sounds like something out of a myth, right?
It really does.
But believe it or not, scientists have actually found them.
Really?
Yeah, which just goes to show how much we still don't know about the deep sea.
I mean, if a fish with no face could exist down there, what else is lurking in the darkness?
That's the question, isn't it?
It really is. So, okay, we've talked about some of these creatures that have adapted to survive in the deepest parts of the ocean.
Yeah.
But what about the giants down there?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not just talking about sharks here.
Right.
I mean, the truly colossal predators that rule the deep.
Exactly like the colossal squid.
Oh yeah, the colossal squid.
Have you ever seen a picture of one of these things?
I have, and they are intimidating.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, first of all, they're huge.
Huge.
But then they have these eyes.
Yeah.
Like dinner plates.
Yeah.
Imagine being down there in the pitch black, and suddenly you see these two giant eyes staring at you. That's a nope for me.
It would be terrifying.
It would be absolutely terrifying.
And the tentacles.
Till you can get me started on the tentacle.
Dude, they're not just covered in suckers.
No.
They've got these sharp hooks.
Like rows and rows of hooks.
Yeah, designed to latch on and never let go.
I mean, once the colossal squid gets its grip on you,
Right.
You're done.
Pretty much, yeah.
And what's even crazier is that we've only ever seen a handful of these things alive.
I know, it's crazy, right?
It's like there are these mythical creatures that just appear out of the darkness every once in a while.
Which, again, just shows you how much of the ocean is still unexplored.
Yeah, we've barely even scratched the surface.
Right. And who knows what else is down there waiting to be discovered.
Okay, so colossal squid, terrifying, check. But then there's the Greenland shark.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it might not be as long as the colossal squid or as flashy,
Right.
but it's got something else going for it.
What's that?
It can live for over 500 years.
500 years, can you imagine?
That's mind-boggling.
It is. It really is like a Greenland shark that was born today could still be alive in the 26th century.
Like it could be swimming around right now, having seen centuries of history.
Yeah, think about all the changes that have happened on this planet.
Wars, inventions, everything.
And these sharks have just been silently observing it all.
It's incredible.
It is.
Okay, so we've talked about the creatures that live in the deep,
Yeah.
but the ocean itself can be just as terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the power of the ocean is immense.
Yeah, it's a force to be reckoned with.
And it has ways of showing us who's boss.
Like rogue waves.
Have you ever heard of these things?
Oh, yeah.
They are insane.
They are insane.
They're not just like big waves. They're these massive walls of water.
Like towering walls of water.
That just come out of nowhere.
You can be sailing along in perfectly calm seas and bam.
A rogue wave.
It just appears out of thin air.
And they can sink ships.
Yeah. I mean, even huge ships.
Oh, look, they just come crashing down and that's it.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And the craziest part is we don't really know what causes them.
Like, we know they exist,
Right, we've seen them.
but we don't know why they happen.
Exactly, which makes them even scarier.
It's like the ocean just decides to flex its muscles every once in a while and remind us who's in charge.
Right.
And speaking of flexing muscles, we got to talk about the Mariana Trench,
Ah, yes, the deepest part of the ocean.
like the ultimate extreme environment.
Yeah,
I mean, the pressure down there is insane.
it would crush a human like a bug.
It's completely dark.
Completely dark.
And there are creatures down there that are just alien.
Yeah,
They look like they come from another planet.
right. And here's the thing, we've barely explored it.
Really?
Yeah, only a handful of people have ever been to the bottom of the Mariana Trench.
I mean, it's just too dangerous, right?
It is, yeah.
So who knows what else is down there?
That's what's so exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Right, like there could be anything down there.
Anything.
So we've talked about the weird creatures, the giant predators, the power of the ocean itself.
Yeah.
But what about the mysteries?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've only explored like 5% of the ocean.
5%, that's it.
So what about the other 95%?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Right, like what could be lurking down there in the darkness?
I mean, some people think that there could be giant creatures that we haven't even discovered yet.
Bigger than the colossal squid.
Maybe even bigger.
That's wild.
It is, and think about it, it's not that far-fetched.
Right, like we just talked about the Greenland shark living for over 500 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So who knows what else is out there just waiting to be found.
It's exciting.
It is.
And a little bit scary.
Just a little bit.
Okay, so giant creatures maybe.
Yeah.
What about like lost civilizations?
Ah, yes, the lost city of Atlantis.
I mean, it's a popular idea
it is.
that there are these underwater cities just waiting to be discovered,
Right.
but is there any evidence?
Well, not really.
So it's more like a fun thought experiment.
Exactly.
Okay, what about UFOs?
UFOs.
Yeah, you know those unidentified submersible objects?
Oh, yeah, I've heard about those.
Like people have reported seeing strange things underwater.
Right, like things moving in ways that our technology just can't explain.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, the ocean is vast
It is.
and unexplored.
Exactly.
So why couldn't there be other intelligent life down there?
I mean, it's possible.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
But I think the biggest takeaway for me is this.
What's that?
We know more about the surface of Mars
Millions of miles away.
than we do about our own ocean.
That's crazy when you think about it.
It really is.
It is.
So we've explored the bizarre world of the abyssal zone.
Yeah, those crazy creatures.
We've talked about the colossal predators that rule the deep.
The giants of the ocean.
We've seen the raw power of the ocean itself.
Rogue waves. The Mariana Trench.
And we've even touched on some of the mysteries that still haven't been solved.
The things that keep us wondering.
And I think the most important thing to remember is this.
What's that?
The ocean is a place where the impossible is often possible.
Yeah, it really is.
Like those creatures that we talked about, the anglerfish, the gulper eel, the faceless fish.
They seem like they shouldn't exist.
But they do.
They do.
And that just shows you how much we still have to learn.
Exactly.
So next time you're at the beach or looking out at the ocean, just remember,
Mm.
there's a whole other world down there.
Yeah.
A world full of wonder and terror
And mystery.
and mystery.
Who knows what else is out there just waiting to be discovered.
I guess we'll have to keep exploring to find out.
That's the fun part.
It is.
It really is.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
And until next time, keep looking down.
And keep wondering.
You never know what you might find.
You never know.